Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Andy. Recently retired from active service, you might say, after 35, 36 years in the industry. And I've been with the PWI for about 3 years. And I'm one of the 2 technical managers. So my role for the PWI is mainly training, with Mr. Ebbett down here at the front. And so if you want to do the track engineering diploma or the S&C refurbishment course, there's a very good chance that you'll bump into me again. I'm also in the process of putting together the advanced track technician course, which I hope everyone will. If you're not interested in it, you certainly should be sending some people on it. It's more practical skills for site engineers and fairly new starters to the railway with less than 5 years experience. So that's a bit about me. This is the practical Trackwork challenge. So what I'm going to talk to you tonight is a bit of a hybrid. What we did last year, what we're going to be doing in the future, or just generally giving you a brief overview of what the practical Trackwork challenge is, right? It's not really a challenge, to be quite honest. What we do is we do a renewal. All right. So this is Mike's poster. So I've got one of the slides written for me. What happens is that we essentially deliver a training course so that people who don't normally work on site can get a little bit of experience on site. But the fact that we do it on the Heritage Railway, we can do it in daylight, people can see what they're doing, we can do it in a safe and controlled manner. So we get a training course out of it. Well, the Heritage Railways, this one here, this is the first time we went to the Churnip Valley in Leek, and we only did about 8 or 9 lengths of renewal, but 8 or 9 lengths in 2 days. There's a challenge there, by the way. But post that renewal, the Churnip Valley managed to get themselves a nice bit of lottery funding, and what you can't see, this side of that photograph, they're now connecting to a brand new station at Leek and extending the railway by over a mile.
I don't think shout the screen.
Okay, right. Sorry for all the online people. The other photograph, well, what that's showing is chap here at the back. He was our surveyor on the course. Yeah, he's mucking in, helping out, like lugging sleepers about. These 2 lads are designers, so yeah. Normally they'll be spent in an office looking at computer screens or doing something completely different. So they get to experience all the different aspects of a renewal. So the deal, what is it? Right, frozen. Oh, there we go. Right. If we agree to do it, the renewal, if you like, on your Heritage Railway, the Heritage Railway provide all the material. PWI or the PWI, we project manage the whole thing. And all the equipment and the manpower, that's for my corporate membership. So all the PWI corporate members help us out. And it'll be a common theme through this presentation, by the way, that you know, it's our corporate members that do this for us. So, heritage railways. What are they? Primarily, they're all about that train in the middle. Yeah, that's what they are. People don't go to heritage railways to look at the track. I do. And there's probably one or two others here that will go there, right? So specifically look at the track. Well, people want the trains. All right. But they're very much part of our industrial heritage, although the trains aren't normally. That's a Black 5, by the way. Like, I'm from Crewe, by the way, and normally, like, you know, like, it's a proper railway town. You know, like, if you show any train spot attendances in your first 10 years of life, your father tends to put you down. But that's a Black 5, and it's built in Newton and Willows, and it's the oldest operating Black 5 in the country, probably in the world. But heritage railways as well, they're also, you've got the track, which is where we come in, but you've got all the other infrastructure there. And quite often, heritage railways, they're a central part in the local history of the area. So they do provide an access to an environment that's not freely available anymore. And there's plenty of opportunities for us as track engineers to get out there and use heritage railways. They do reflect our history and industrial heritage, and I think that's an important thing. I think it's worth preserving, by the way, you know. And as with the Churnit Valley, they're reopening, you know, another mile of track, and they've used the help that we've provided as a basis to get that. Now, the permanent way, or the track elements of this, right, can often, well, it's ancient, right? It is ancient. I've seen 1880 base plates in the track. Yeah, like, the wonderful thing about Heritage Rail, by the way, right, and I'm digressing a little bit now, is, right, and we can all learn from this, they don't throw a damn thing away. Nothing gets thrown, right? If you want sustainability in action, it's heritage rails. Right? They recycle everything. Compare and contrast that with Network Rail. Sorry, Network, there's any Network Rails in it. But, like, you know, like, my last few years working with Amy, you know, like, they're renewing crossovers, and they're fit, like, you know, earlier on in the same day, they were fit for 100-mile-an-hour traffic. The whistle goes for possession, we're ripping them out and burning them up into little bits of scrap metal. That just can't be right, can it? So think about the actual, yeah, the componentry and everything. Yeah. Heritage Rail just demonstrates to us that what we can recycle and what we can cascade. And yeah, if you're involved in renewals, think about it, please. You know, there must be somewhere that all that stuff can go. It doesn't have to be burnt up and destroyed. What I was saying earlier on about, it's all about the trains. And heritage railways, unfortunately, they spend all, if they get any money, they spend it all on trains. You know? And they forget, quite honestly, that you know, to operate a train, you need some track. So quite often, the state of the P-way is absolutely dreadful. It's ancient and it's, well, it's hanging, to use So we can help out. As the PWI, we can help out and we can do something. I put in there, you know, these things are everywhere. So, you know, as far as the practical Trackwork challenge is concerned, we're going to do that twice a year from now on. There's a commitment to run it twice a year. And I guess that's where the challenge comes in, because it's a lot of work. But it'd be good if various sections particularly when you're thinking about training and things that you want to do. You know, like locally in London, there will be skills that you need to hone and develop, which might be very different from the skills that you want to hone and develop in Scotland, for instance. So it might be something that you can do in London by adopting a heritage railway and doing some good on there. Now, civic heritage have some dreadful stuff, right? But they also do some really good stuff, right? So I was out in Dundee doing the S&C refurbishment course, and I got invited onto the Scaspay Railway, right? And I was walking along and I saw this joint. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant joint. Lift plate, bang on. Even better, the packs under the base plate on the lifted side. No void in there. Absolutely, well, mainline railways, whether you're on the underground or whatever, you measure your lift plates up, you get them absolutely right. But a bit of that skill's gone out where you actually pack underneath the base plate. Right? So no void. Fantastic to see. So, who attends the Trackwork Challenge? As I said in the back on slide one, and apologies if I'm jumping about a bit. We recommend that the people that go, people that get the most benefit from the Trackwork Challenge are those people that have never done a renewal, that have never seen a renewal. So, backroom staff, your planners, and the people that don't actually get out on site, I think are the ones that will get the most benefit. Consultants very rarely get out on site these days, which is something that should be corrected. So who attends? Well, recently we've had ORR inspectors coming out. Administrators, the team organisers or what have you, right? This next one might be women on site. Sorry, that's a politically incorrect slide, but it's true, right? Our last Trackwork Challenge, the manpower, right? Because that manpower here about, right? The site staff, if you like, the people doing the actual labouring, it's 50-50, right? So we can do it on the Trackwork Challenge, right? So perhaps we can do it. Designers, I've already mentioned planners, team organisers, graduates and trainees, right? But basically anybody and everybody. Right? We want to be inclusive, we want to get people there. And the deal is that all our corporate members get to send 2 members of staff free of charge. Right? PWI pay for this. Right? The last 2 years we've booked out hotels. Everyone gets briefed on the Friday night, on the Tuesday night before the Wednesday night and Thursday night of the renewal. Now, if everybody sent 2 members of staff, right, we couldn't have, we'd be overbooked massively. So not everybody does. Not everybody sends people to the course, to the challenge. But the deal is that all our corporate members get to send 2 members of staff free of charge. But I think it's important to say that in 2022, it wouldn't have happened without companies that I've put out there, right? And apologies if one logo is a little bit bigger than the other, right? That's just my IT skills. It's not. So, Correc, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The survey company, they gave Matt Barwell got involved right from the start. He surveyed about 3 sites for us. He demonstrated all this, the Guido trolley and all this stuff. Brilliant. And he was there all the way through. Balfour Beat is, again, fabulous support. As I'll go through a bit later on, they acted as principal contractor. ProRail supplied us with so much kit, so very much kit. And Quattro supplied us with machines. Transport for London, I hope to see James Field here tonight. He's not here, but yeah, brilliant. Him and his team came and did all the setting out and just helped us all the way through with techie in on site. Mark McDonald's, principal designers. Clichat gave us training, provided us with trainers, provided us with equipment. So the challenge is that all this is voluntary, by the way, right? All of it. Right? We have to corral it all together, all right? Because these companies need, well, they need to earn a profit and do fee earning work. But I'm really, really grateful that they send people and act in the role of the problem. I also put Rovell and Sunbelt renewals up there, and that's a text box because I could get their logos, but I didn't download them off the internet. Now, Rovell provided us with equipment, and Sunbelt renewals, they provided all the site access, all the signing in. So, CDM 2015, this renewal is done properly, right? Absolutely properly. It's we have a client is the Heritage Railway. We have a principal designer, in this case Mark McDonald's, and we have a principal contractor, in this case Balfour Beatty. And if you work for a large contractor, please, Balfour's have done it for 2 or 3 years, and long may it continue. And I've got Volker Fitzpatrick interested as well, but we need others. We need to share the love around. Principal designers, Mott's again are very good. Some others don't like taking the risk. And the clients, well, they're the Heritage Railways. Not a great slide, this, but that just shows the relationship. All the various people, Sean Webber at Balfour's, who was our principal contractors rep, Chris Mannion, Mark McDonald's. Now, from a PWI perspective, of course, this takes a lot of work to put together. So I did a lot of the running around, and sorting out designs and surveys and the like. I was helped, more than helped. Kevin Percival, who some of you might know, you'll definitely know them from Jarvis days or whatever. He does a lot of the construction stuff, and Roy Hickman helps out as well with all the governance. So combined, we're sort of a very old project manager, if you like. But there are challenges because it's all voluntary, and Heritage Rails, they are voluntary staff as well. So getting people together on any single day and organising this, in the world of renewals, he who shouts loudest gets the most done sometimes, you have to be nice, and that's a challenge in itself. So, we have 2 days to undertake the renewal, and we may take up to 2 days for site prep as well. So if you're on your heritage railway, if it is yours that we're going there, we'd like to have a whole week boxed off. There will be some site prep days ahead of that, but 2 days, the Monday and Tuesday, we get all our machines delivered, get the toilet block set up, get the drying room sorted, all the good stuff. And we also have a contingency day at the end. We've not used it yet, but you know, there's a first time for everything, and we won't be the first people to overrun the renewal. So there's a hole in the railway. We've got a spare day. So what can we achieve in 2 days? In 2022, that's what we did. And when I say 2 days, that's not 24 hours. That's, you know, that's 8 hours, right? So 183 metres of sleeper rails and ballast. It's not a full dig, right? So, like, you know, and to be fair, there wasn't any ballast there, so we would just drop ballast off and put the rails on top. But, you know, that's the sort of thing that we'd achieve. About 8 lengths. So that's what we did in preparation. Churnet Valley Railway. Well, we asked them if they could do this. We ended up doing it ourselves, with their help, I have to say. But we got Quattro in, who delivered a dozer free of charge for us, and we dozed the site. Wasn't a 2-track railway, it's only 1 track now. So we designed it, we dozed the adjacent track formation so we could store material and also humans watching the renewal. They managed to procure all the sleepers and all of the ballast. And whilst all that's going on, of course, we're making sure that the design is done, the survey, setting out. Mott McDonald's, again, brilliant support from us. Well, they put the trainees on it, the junior staff, and that's good that they did. And Balfour Beatty's site manager was, you know, a fairly inexperienced chap as well. And again, he got a lot of experience from it. And because we've got Kevin Percival on site, or part of our team, he made sure that all the construction phase plan and all the relevant paperwork was done. It's compliant. It's compliant with the law. I think that's an important thing. You can't have your professional body of track engineers or rail infrastructure engineers cutting corners and doing dodgy stuff, can you? So it's fully compliant. So the Churnet Valley, that's Frogall Station. It's near Stoke-on-Trent, on the Derbyshire side, just on the edges of the Peak District, very near Alton Towers. Those of you who don't know the site. Araki. Okay, right. So choosing a site. I would never ever choose this site ever again. Never. It was a nightmare. Right? Now, the reason this site was chosen is because the ORR had been down there and said, look at the state of this track, you're not running trains down here, right? Unless you get it sorted out. So they asked us to renew, right? And so it's reverse curve. It's up a mountain, and it is up a mountain, 2 miles away from the nearest access. Right? Because this is in the Peak District, this is lovely, right? This is like, you know, the houses are holiday cottages. It's chocolate box scenery. It's a lovely part of the world. However, you're 2 miles away. So I've got to get, or we've got to get, 40 delegates, 40 students, 2 miles to site. What the hell? We've got to get plant, machinery, equipment, 2 miles from our logging on point here. There is literally nowhere else. Well, we could go to the next section and that would be a 3 mile. At least that would have been downhill. So one of the big problems is any of you that worked on renewals or just organising anything, you put 40 people and tell them to get somewhere, only 30 of them will ever turn up. So we had to make sure that we got everybody there, and I'll show you how we overcome that. We also have, these are our site limits. That was where our 8 lengths were. And I've kept this slide on because it's not one that you can take off Google Earth. But you can see the railway. You can see how that there it's fairly curvy, I suppose. But up above here, right, you've got the Colden Canal, and down below we've got a river. So we were fairly well constrained, and the side of this thing, honestly, it's steep. So not only were we a long way away from where we wanted to be, we were also sitting on the side of a mountain. And it's been in the Peak District. It snowed in March, so that was. How did we get everybody there? Thanks to ProRail, they came up with this little people carrier. They could get another 8 people on the back there. Kabuto people carrier, so could get 16 folk in and out of that at any one time. One of the other things about this challenge that you need to know is that everybody comes, right? So we have 40 delegates, but we've also got POSs, machine controllers, a gang of men just in case our delegates don't get the hang of what, you know, wearing blue hats. I've never done this before. And then we also get all our corporate members that send people, they like to come out as well and have a look at, you know, what are we doing? Because your directors of your companies don't get out on site either very often. Or when they can get out on site, they get out on site at night. No one likes working at night, do they? That's 2 days. So we get a lot of the great and the good coming out as well, which is yet another reason why we need to get everything absolutely right. Day 2 of the challenge, I think we had at one point, I asked Sunbelt how many people had they signed in, and I'd signed in 108. So those of you going down to Roberts Bridge in November, be prepared. Design. Mott's did a design for us, which is, yeah, they put some graduates on this job. And they did a very, very good job, I have to say. Right? If I gave this to you, right, again, a lot of you would rubbish this, right? But you've got to remember that we're doing 8 lengths, and we've got to get in and out and tie everything in. It's 25 miles an hour. And so horrendously overcounted as well, because all heritage railways like were running at 50, 60 mile an hour, weren't they? You know, like before beaching. Now they're running at maximum of 25 miles an hour. So in this particular, as you can see, the design here, the red is the new work. The 8 lengths, the worst 8 lengths that we could find. There's the canal, there's the river down at the bottom there. So you can see how the vertical geometry, it's challenging to say the least. Just it speaks for itself. So when we're on site, Balfour's, James Field, fantastic job, but he's got to set all this out, and I do it live, and you know, can't speak highly enough of him. John Winborn, I don't know if any of you know him, but I've seen him about. This fellow here, he works for Clichards. Really, really good trainer. Fantastic trainer. He imparts his knowledge, and he's got the patience of a saint, by the way. Yeah. So it goes through all the delegates here. This chap's a doctor, PhD, geotechnical engineer, you know. We had him on the nut runner. ORR inspectors, those two ladies. So get everybody knocking keys in, drilling and changing base plates. One other thing that we do is everybody gets to go in the cab at one of the RRVs. So we get the lift plans, and it's all done absolutely properly. But when we're tandem lifting, we try and get everybody up there in the cab so they can see what the operators are seeing. Obviously, we don't let them loose on the controls. That would be really bad. But it's one of the things that we do. That's me and John, and one of the problems there. Someone supplied us with jingle jangles, and we should be doing 6 at a time, and of course we're only doing 24 a length, so we're spacing them out. Someone gave me a crutch with a piece of wood on the end. I think that was one of the TFL lads that come out with that idea. Surveying. This chap here, I've mentioned him before, Matt. He came out on site. He surveyed the site for us on more than one occasion, dropped in control everywhere for us, and demonstrated all the latest kit as well. So one of the other things is that when you've got 100 people on site, you can't have them all looking into the same hole. It's impossible to do. So what we like to do is have demonstration areas. Surveying, correct down there, demonstrating all the latest scanning technology. They didn't bring drones this time, but I'm sure they've got them. GPS, and you know, so everyone can see the latest developments, as well as the run-of-the-mill stuff like platform gauges and that. This photograph, well, we got tamper working. It's the oldest tamper in the world, right? It's an old GTRM 08 tamper. It's there, absolutely ancient. But we got it working 2 years ago. And got everybody boxing in behind it. So I think everyone 2 years ago got a real appreciation of just how hard it is boxing and doing a neat job. And also, that's Mr. Field there, showing them all how to check the camp behind it. Now, Heritage Rail is a challenge, particularly if it's not mainline connected. How do you reballast? I don't know if any of you have seen this, right? But this is us reballasting. No sound on here, but we've done the renewal. So we've got the hoppers up, we've got a couple of dogfish, you've had a look at it like that. It's really old school reballasting with the shark at the back, right? I don't know if anyone can remember using sharks, right? But the trick is to go at a steady pace and not to open everything up, right? The modern auto hoppers do a lot of this for you, but it's a pity there's no sound on here actually, because the screeching the way it's deafening. So each one of the Turnip Valley owns all these dogfish or whatever, and they supply a man, and again volunteer, right? Each one opening up. You can see it just dropping out. We didn't use the side hoppers first time out. We decided to do lots of passes rather than one really quickly. So here you'll see the shark, right? This is modern technology, fellas. It's completely off the rail. It's not damaging the rail, but it is a bit of a look at the state of the running boards on that. So that was one of the challenges that we had. Now, a few of these. Eamon Maloney here, the MD of ProRail, who absolutely helped us out enormously, right? Machines, two RRVs for the whole week. The people carrier, right? All no charge, right? Absolutely no charge. And it's, well, can we put up some posters? Absolutely, you can, right? You know, advertise away, fellas, right? You know, it's like, well, yeah, and did the presentations at the end. This is Nonia, who project managed the design work from Mark McDonald's and wrote the article in the journal. So we're really grateful, and if you own your company and you want to get involved, right? Yeah, no problem here, right? You know, you can, just demonstrate your services. We are grateful, right? And we want to get you involved. Demonstrations, as I said earlier on, we've got a lot of kit. Robel provide all their battery-powered stuff. So, we're getting new stuff, as well as the old stuff that Clichards provide for us. Old stuff, that's more traditional tools, we say. Right, a shovel's a shovel. No one's invented a solar-powered one yet, have they? You know. But we have vertical tampers from Robel, all the battery-operated kit, and they demonstrate that on the platform. And if you want to see how they work, if you want more knowledge, you have that opportunity to go and see them and find out about it. In the same way, we try and do it. It's not all a big advertising campaign there. This chap here from the RAIB is a chap called Jonathan Graham. He's a derailment expert, and Jonathan does. It's worth it, in my opinion. Right, it's worth coming on this just to hear Jonathan speak. Right, he does about facing point derailments. And he goes through it like, well, he's brilliant. He's really good. He explains it, you know, all the contact points, what happens, you know, and what to look out for. It's not SO53, right? It ain't facing point inspections. He goes through the actual why SO53 was invented, if you like, all the technical stuff behind it, where the contact points are on the rail, and why it happens when facing moves. So he's done the last couple of years. Hopefully he'll be down at Robertsbridge. But as sections, right, get involved. You know, please get involved. There might be some sort of knowledge that you think is important that you want imparting to people, and there's the opportunity to do that. So the future programme, none of this is really cast in stone, but this is what we're proposing to do. Kent and East Sussex, you know about, that's in November 22. I think the 11th and 12th off the top of my head, but I'll look at them. The next one, when we go, the first one where we're doing I suppose this is the first one to New York, through March at Churney Valley. Then we're going to the Midland Railway Trust in Derbyshire, and we're using the rail back there. So we've got Railcare of Sweden are giving us the rail back, and they've given, we're trialling it in the next week or so, a laser attachment to the end of the hose. And we're going to cut a crossbow. That's the idea. A 1 in 30 crossbow. So Railcare Sweden are doing, are providing the rail back for that. Volker Fitzpatrick are the principal contractor. And we'll do about 10 lengths of renewal. And there's some drainage there as well, because it's in the lot cutting. The next, we're looking at other sites. These have yet to be confirmed, but West Somerset Railway, we've had a look at a site there through platforms. Again, platform renewal with its own challenges on quite a steep gradient. And the Strathspey Railway at Abbeymoor, a turnout installation at Broomhill Station. Broomhill Station is where they filmed Monica the Glen. If you're out there, you can remember that. It's a dreadful programme on Sunday night, wasn't it? It's Glenn Vogel. Every week they got off that train. So that's it. Thanks for your time. Hope I haven't bored you too much. Anyway, and any questions?
Doing the equivalent on the maintenance side of marking up for a tamper, having crossing welders, having all sonics, and having people to see that side of things, perhaps a heavy refurb using a tram of a turnout, changing a crossing, that sort of thing.
Yes. In short, yes, we have. Heavy maintenance would be ideal, and in actual fact, with the people or the numbers that go on these on the challenges, right, we could be doing maintenance tasks outside of the renewal as well. To be quite honest, that is something that we could do. The reason that we haven't done it as yet is just the manpower. To be quite honest, because you've got to do it in a safe and controlled environment, and you know, it's one of the reasons that I'm here speaking to the sections. You know, if you want to volunteer to help us with this, certainly get no objections from anyone in the PWI. But to give you a more detailed answer, there are some certain things that marking up behind tampers will be, you know, it's a skill that needs to be done. Measuring up S&C, you know, is another one that wearing my other hat now, when I teach on the S&C refurbishment course, every time we go on, I teach on that course, someone gives us a horror story. It shows a photograph of like left-hand switches installed in right-hand turnouts, crossings, just completely the wrong crossings being installed in completely the wrong place. So not understanding, about spreads and plays and all the rest of it. So there is a real big learning curve there that we'd love to do, but we haven't. It's just having time to do it, and the location again is very important. Like you couldn't mark up for a tamper, for instance, even though the Churning Valley have got a tamper. There's no ballast. Yeah.
How easy is it for you to get hold of spares, or indeed the heritage railway for some of these things? Or is it a right scramble?
What, spares?
Yeah. So for instance, the lift plates, Andy, when those joints are made up and all of that, is it easy for them to get spares afterwards?
My experience is that they have everything. They have piles.
That's an act in itself, yeah.
Well, yeah, but what? Have you got lift plates? Yeah, it's in that pile over there. Have you got rails? Yeah, they're in that pile over there. There isn't a store that they go to, and as I said earlier, right, they throw nothing away, absolutely nothing. But it's not stored particularly well either.
Question from online. Gillian Heathcote says, what work is happening at Robertsbridge and can individuals attend?
Individual members, no, you've got to be a corporate member. But if you work for a corporate member company, then yes. You need to see your companies. That we Kate's already done that. At Robertsbridge, I haven't actually been involved in Robertsbridge, but there's some plain line renewal, some over a bridge, I think, is the main work. There's about 3 or 4 different sites.
Follow that up, just in terms of, is there a way, I mean, it's great demand for this, I think it's fantastic personally. Is there any way we could sort of expand it to non-corporates as observers in some way, or even just doing a sort of edited movie of it somehow to show people what goes on?
It would be fabulous if we could, right? And I'm sure we can. Right? I'll just refer you back to like 108 people on site on day 2, right? So just corralling that many people in one place at one time.
Right? I think there's an opportunity there for PWI perhaps. Because I was talking to a college this afternoon, the students, and the lecturer was absolutely really keen to get sort of hands-on experience. The way down the list in terms of, we're not allowed to say that, but way down the list, I think, in terms of getting experience.
There's a real thirst for knowledge out there, right? And that's what we're tapping into, and we need to tap into it, right? That there are, if you're a designer, you're seeing actually the effects, when you're saying 1 mil lift and 2 mil slew, right? Well, here you go, right? Have a bar, you try and get it. So you're seeing lots of, there's lots of good skills that are being taught here. Just how long does it take to change a sleeper? So there's a huge thirst for that knowledge, and it's great that we can demonstrate it. But the challenge of the practical trackwork challenge, I think, is how you corral that many people and keep them interested, and also renew 8 lengths in 16 hours, because that's all you've got, But more volunteers and of experienced people to help with groups, we could do a lot more.
How do you make sure it's safe at the end of the weekend do you hand it back to any particular standard, or
Yeah.
what's
We had A to G forms this time. We got Balfours to fill them out. So, and in answer to your question, it's done under CDM 2015. So we get as-built records and A to G forms. It's all signed off and passed back into Trackwork. So yeah, we take ownership of it from the railway. We make sure that the railway give us the buried services information and the pre-set. Again, that's another challenge, but but we do, we make sure that they are aware that these are the responsibilities that they've got to, that they have, and they do take them seriously. There weren't any buried services up that hill, by the way. Any other questions?
This comment from James saying sorry, can't be here.
Right.
But he's planning for the next one in the Tennessee Sussex at the moment.
Right. Brilliant.
If you go on the course, you get to see like the as-built and follow the process of it afterwards.
Well, do you know? No. Right. No, you don't, and perhaps that's something that we should do. There should be a follow-up, shouldn't there? And no one's ever asked that. And yeah, obviously there's a period of time before, after we've reballasted and opened it up for traffic, then Balfours have to go away and prepare the health and safety file for us, such as it is. I mean, don't expect something that have you seen one from a normal track renewal? Right, okay, right. Well, they can be fairly weighty tones, let me tell you. It's not like that. It's a slim down version.
You get the red line fairly quickly.
Yeah.
The red line one before it goes to the formal.
Yeah.
As-built.
Yeah.
I mean, I rely on, doing my assessment work, I basically say people, no, just give me the red line,
Right.
I'll work from that. You have to wait months before you get formally drawn
Right.
up as built.
Yeah.
So, the red line is probably the way to go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's all to do. But thanks.
Well, thanks very much, Andy, and thanks for that insight to what I think has been a really great innovation by the Permanent Way Institution, the Institution for Railway Infrastructure Engineers, not just about track, but this is about track. And I think to myself, could we go beyond it to a bit of drainage? Good to see it on the list.
Well, we are going to be doing drainage. There's only one place with OLE that I know, which is the Critch Tramway Museum, right? But there is no reason at all why we couldn't. And it'd be even better to see a couple of OLE people here as well, wouldn't it?
Well, that's another
learning about track.
To roll it out to the electrification guys and girls. I've certainly learned from that myself. But I think the thing here is about, clearly you need more volunteers as well.
Yeah.
So I guess we're looking at you want some volunteers for the southeast, do you? Down at Roberts Wood?
Absolutely.
So,
Mike will be...
okay, so I'll have to talk to my wife about whether I can spare to go back to deep darkest Kent, where I was brought up. But so I think...
It's Sussex.
Roberts Wood, is it? It's East Sussex, yeah, but I was thinking Kent. Thanks very much.
It's close to the second.
There we are. Indeed. So, but thanks for the insight. Thanks for looking at showing us some of the challenges. Indeed, there are challenges. I'm glad I didn't have to plan that work up the incline, up the hill. But clearly, for me and everyone, it's a win-win, is it not? Get out there and kick the components is what I'd like to say to people. And I think the challenges of working on the real railway today make it a little bit harder. I know we've got everyone home safely. Yeah. It helps. It makes it perhaps a little bit more difficult to get out there. But and we all look at this digital stuff that comes through and analysed on screens. But have you ever been out there and kicked it? I had a boss. I said to him, "Yeah, I know about it, Garth. I've been out. Heard from people it's okay. Have you been and looked at it, Paul? You're going tonight, Dan? No, Governor. He's like me, Dan." So he's sort of saying, and I think this is the real opportunity for everyone to get out there and look at it. And I think the world's your oyster, really. Can we go further? Can we perhaps provide a service for other people like students who are interested, but it's only so much that a limited resource can do. But so thanks very much. Introduction and experience for people, spread the word amongst the corporates, get the experience from survey right through to installation and handover. You know, I've been there, done it, bits and pieces over the years, but if only that was there when I started in the industry, sort of nearly 50 years ago now, I can't believe it, to get out there and do a bit of renewal work myself, instead of just being a technical manager who stood on the side. So thanks very much for that, Andy, and I hope everybody joined me in the normal fashion for what I thought was a great insight and very interesting. Thanks very much, Andy, for coming to lunch.
Thanks very much for that. So our next meeting is on the 9th of November, back here and hopefully online again. And that's going to be from Mona Sahota, and the subject we've got is flooding and vegetation on Network Rail. So we're glad to see you guys then. And for those of us who are here, some of us will move on, thanks to the Red Lion, just down the road towards Liverpool Street. Okay, thank you very much for joining.
Now to leave the bed.